Africa is touted as a new frontier for renewable energy, but the continent has struggled to harness the vast potential of its clean power sources due to a lack of access to finances, poor infrastructure, and political instability. But new financing from the UN's COP29 climate summit might help. Well, Chris Okromringa reports from the Democratic Republic of Congo.
Africa is a vast landscape long poised for an energy revolution, thanks to what the sun and wind can provide. But that transformation hasn't quite taken shape. Some 600 million people in sub-Saharan Africa remain without access to electricity, according to the International Energy Agency.
Nous fûmes d'abord au village, il avait dit que nous étions au village. Vite aux aïe comme mené, vraiment y a bana mboka. Parce que awa courant ba côté la kabiso na bandako ba criminels ils viennent ici en cascade et la partie restante là-bas ce n'est que hier qu'on a tabassé un papa qui fut pensionné de l'ONATRA.
It's one consequence of energy poverty in what is already one of the poorest countries in the world. The Democratic Republic of the Congo is banking on water to help overcome this. It has plans to build a third hydropower plant at the existing Grand Inga Dam project. This could generate 4,800 megawatts of electricity, enough to power nearly 5 million more homes and 3 times what the entire dam now generates. But the plans have been in the works for decades.
Le défi principal est financier. Il y a 2 volets à regarder sur ce plan-là. Il y a le volet national. L'État congolais devrait en tout cas mettre sur la table un certain niveau de financement. C'est vrai qu'avec beaucoup de problèmes que nous avons sur le plan socio-économique, l'État congolais fait un effort, c'est-à-dire disponibilise un certain niveau de moyens financiers, mais il faut dire que ce n'est pas suffisant. C'est ça qui fait que nous participons beaucoup dans les forums internationaux pour mobiliser des investissements étrangers.
There was hope that the project would one day also provide hydroelectricity to Namibia, Angola, Botswana, and South Africa. But the project would cost $80 billion, a figure that has been beset by funding challenges, including a pullout by the World Bank. So, in the meantime, Congolese business people have taken matters into their own hands, as others are doing in Ghana, Nigeria, and Kenya, to provide affordable solar power to local communities.
Déjà, nous luttons contre le réchauffement climatique. Pourquoi? Parce que notre produit-service ne contribue pas à l'émission de gaz à effet de serre. Plutôt, il lutte contre ça. Et aussi, nous luttons contre la précarité énergétique. Donc, actuellement, notre pays connaît beaucoup de coupures.
One upside to solar power is that it doesn't need a grid.
Some families in African countries like the DRC are now turning to solar energy because of the unreliable power supply from the national electricity grid. These solar panels installed on rooftops are able to operate without serious interruptions and provide clean energy, which is critical to reducing air pollution and climate change.
Wind power is another answer, but it hasn't been easy either. It's taken flight in a few African countries, but the Global Wind Energy Council says Africa is using less than 1% of its wind power potential. Poverty levels and the high cost to install and maintain renewable energy projects are the main issues. For Africa, including the DRC, some help might come from the COP29 climate summit in Azerbaijan, where climate financing and carbon credits are on the agenda.
L'invitation, c'est aussi sur cette question de crédit carbone. Puisque nous avons une forêt qui contribue à réguler le climat mondial, nous contribuons énormément. Il faut impérativement que les techniciens et les leaders du monde puissent se concentrer sur la question de savoir, mais puisque nous le faisons, nous contribuons naturellement, comment est-ce qu'on peut avoir une compensation en fait financière qui peut permettre alors que nous puissions investir dans des projets d'électrification.
Nations agreed at last year's COP summit to triple renewable energy capacity by 2030. But for fossil fuel-dependent Africa, where renewable energy reportedly accounts for just 1/5 of its electricity output, that target remains out of reach. Chris Ochamringa, CNA, Kinshasa.